Welcome to No Contingencies, a real estate live show with no filters, no BS, and no safety nets. This is episode 15 of our show, and we are now on the air. I'm Liz Ryan.
I'm Parker Pemberton.
And I have no camera today, but I'm Nicholas Walpole.
And I can attest that Nick is, in fact, sitting in front of us. I can see him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that the rest of you cannot.
I think everyone's going to be fine.
I think so, too. Hey, friends, this week marks 10 years from the date that Parker started in real estate, and coincidentally, Parker's 40th birthday. We thought we'd take some time to look back and reflect on those 10 years today, so let's get into it. You ready, Parker?
Yeah, to clarify that, it's Sunday. Anybody that was here yesterday.
The entire company is aware. It's Sunday.
Yeah, March 22nd is Sunday. That's the day I was born. And for some reason in 2016, I thought it was the best idea to get my license on my 30th birthday.
What in the world possessed you to take your real estate test on your birthday?
Well, I was coming out of the winter and I was thinking, why not make it a memorable day? I'm either gonna pass or fail, but if I pass, I'm gonna be able to mark this day as history for my little career,
Yeah, I mean it's true. It's just set yourself up for a lot of pressure right from the gate.
Well, so I went over to they didn't have any testing centers nearby, and this was 10 years ago. So I don't even know what they have now.
Yeah, you probably had to call to make an appointment.
For sure, I had to, but I had to go to Hudson, Wisconsin, and sit in this little testing center. I took the test, and this is the second time I was in real estate, so I had already had some framework, right?
Right.
And I went up to the guy who was like behind bulletproof glass, like it was like the DMV, right?
Bulletproof glass, yeah.
And I'm like people must fuck with these guys all the time. And there's like a little hole, and so I was like, hey, I need to find out today if I passed.
Right.
And he's like, sorry, sir, we're gonna email out the results. You'll get them within 14 days. And I said, no, you don't understand. I just drove to Hudson, Wisconsin to take my test, and today's my birthday, and you're going to tell me today. And I think you just see it in my eyes. So, by the way, you can find out day of, because he pulled it up on the computer. He turned his computer around to me behind the glass and it said, passed.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what an auspicious start to your second time around real estate career. That's pretty amazing. So, okay, what'd you do? Did you go home, have a birthday party, and start thinking about who you're going to sell houses to?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I ended up going out to dinner with my parents, and I didn't tell them that I was going to take the test, so I told them on the spot. And so that was kind of a fun thing. It was Pittsburgh Blue and Edina, and then we're off and running. And then the next day you turn the page and you're like, all right, what do I do now?
Right. Had you already kind of set up an office or anything, or nothing? Like you were starting from scratch?
Yeah, I was just joining, Coldwell Banker and my dad at the time, and was going to figure it out.
Yep. What were you? Okay, so when I joined you later that year, were you guys in that same set of rooms when you went into the? Did you go to the office the next day after you took your test?
I did. I was in there at 8 a.m. the next day, and
Okay.
that was just something that made sense to me.
Yeah. What'd you do the first week? Do you remember?
I was handed a list of, I don't remember how many leads. It was hundreds of leads, but it was this like stack of papers that were old Zillow leads, PPC leads, Facebook leads. It just names, numbers, emails. And I was just told, call through this list and ask them if they bought a house.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I started to kind of pick up on the responses, and people were like, yeah, we purchased a house last year, or no, we haven't yet. And so just by having conversations with people, I ended up getting, I think I set like 15 appointments from that list, ended up selling 6 houses in the first 90 days to that list.
From that list.
Yeah.
Okay. Buyers or sellers?
They're all buyers.
They're all buyers. Yeah. Okay.
They're all buyers.
Where do you remember where your first closing was? Like the first home that you actually closed on?
Yeah. Coincidentally, it ended up being a door knock on an expired, which I brought a buyer to. So I found the buyer. I door knocked the expired, just simply asking, are you still looking to sell your house? Because I have a buyer who's interested. And she said yes. And I'll always remember this because on the back of her door, she had a note. It was an older lady. She ended up moving to California. She was single, had like 4 cats. And on the back of the door, it said, God will deliver the right person when the time is right. Just wait for that person to walk through this door.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is weird. I didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, she said, I was waiting for somebody like you to come help me because I couldn't find the right person. And I'd been trying to sell my house for 3 years. And so I was like, yeah, I think that was meant to happen.
Yeah.
And we still stay in touch, and she's in California.
10 years later, I have never heard this story before.
Really?
Yes.
Well, the
Liz,
whole door
I've
knocking
heard
thing
that
came
story.
from.
You have not.
I have heard that story.
What?
He told it in a reel.
Oh, sorry then. That's my bad.
Yeah, you're just not paying attention.
I was like an unguided missile. You know, they're
Yes.
like, just go knock on that door. Just go talk to that person. Just call these people. And I was like, okay. Because I was starving to succeed. You know, I had come from failing in golf, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And then I look at the lawn care days, and I never really operationalized that business the way that I wanted. So I had to shut it down, which I still look at as a failure, but a learning lesson.
Yeah.
And so I was just like starving to succeed, and I was willing to do anything it took.
Well, yeah. What geographical area were you in? Were you door knocking?
We were in Apple Valley.
In Apple Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in Apple Valley. Which I always tell agents, you got to start somewhere where you know the market,
Yeah.
right? I went to school in Apple Valley growing up, elementary, middle, and high school. I ran my lawn care business in Apple Valley
Right.
and out of Apple Valley. So I had been servicing 500 or so, single family homes through lawn care and snow removal.
Yeah.
I knew streets by the alphabet. I knew house numbers.
Right.
So that's just where it started.
Yeah. Did you ever sell a house in my neighborhood?
I've sold a lot of houses in that Valley Middle School area.
Yeah.
Do you know the one up the street that had the suicide in it?
Yes.
I almost sold that
Whoa.
after the suicide.
Yeah.
And it fell apart in inspection.
Yikes. Yes, that is
I don't know how deep you want to go there, but
not very. I think we'll stop right there.
I also have this like photographic memory.
Yeah, I know you do.
This goes back to golf, where you could tell me a tournament or a round or a golf course, and I can pretty much remember every shot or situation that I was in.
Yeah.
And so with every sale, I remember names and like dogs' names and kids' names, and that stuff is still like super fresh to me. I think
Yeah.
it's a real gift.
Oh, I think so too. Where were you keeping track of what you were doing? I mean, were you working out of Post-it notes like you do now? Were you
Yep.
working? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the Parker system was born. If you can see it, you can track it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And this goes back to when I was a little boy in sports. I used to have whiteboards in my room, and I would have, whether it was hockey, it was baseball, or it was golf season, each whiteboard represented a different sport. And I would track
Oh.
every game and all my stats on the whiteboard for every sport. So like in hockey, I'd have like number of shifts. I would have shots on goal. I'd have goals, assists, wins, and I'd be able to track my stats accordingly. And then in baseball, you'd have hits, singles, doubles, home runs. And then when I became a pitcher, you'd track that too. And then in golf, it was, greens hit, fairways hit, putts, just, average score, all the things, without talking forever.
Yeah.
I was tracking all of that. And so I would lay in bed at night and I would look at those whiteboards and I would just kind of visualize, like, how can I get better at this? How can I take these stats and see that I hit 58% of my fairways, and that if I got that to 75%, how many more opportunities would I have to hit greens? Now, this is like really deep analytics, right?
Yes.
But when you're like a 12-year-old, I don't think that that's normal, right?
No. Where do you think that came from? What do you think inspired you to say, I'm gonna write all this stuff down. I'm gonna track this stuff. Like, where'd it come from?
I think it truly just was born from being extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Like, that's just where it started from, of that I always wanted to win. And if I didn't win, it would just bother me so much
Yeah.
that I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't go to school without thinking about it. Truly, I think that's where it came from, because I knew that if I could squeeze a little bit more out of each of these little areas, that I would improve
Yeah.
and be better.
I love that. I think that's so great. My counterpart to that story is, I think you have the tracking and the competitive driven brain, and my brain tends to go to more the organizational, like, how are we going to accomplish this, and how are we going to sort things into categories and push things forward. And I remember being a little kid, and my mom telling me, "You're good at organizing stuff. Why don't you reorganize the linen closet?" I think it may have been like I was supposed to help with something, and she couldn't think of a job for me to help, so she was like, "Why don't you just take everything out of there and reorganize it in a way that makes sense?" And like that kind of that I remember that from early on, and then that kind of thinking of like taking a whole mess of stuff and putting it into some organizational format still makes sense to me today. I feel like that's a lot of what we do.
Yeah, but also I'm always amazed when you post that picture of the books you read for the month. So you guys listening, like Liz reads sometimes 5, sometimes 10 books a month.
Yeah.
And I asked her the other day, I was like, "How do you read so many books every month?" And she goes, "Well, I just read like 50 pages before I go to bed every day." And I was doing the math in my head on that. I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It does.
But talk about a small little habit that compounds over time.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I take those 30 minutes and I'm looking at spreadsheets, or I'm looking at CSU, or I'm looking at agents'
Right.
activities and follow-up boss.
Right.
You have this ability to consume a ton of information and retain it.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to see it.
Yeah.
It's just a different, right?
It is different. Yep. I think I consume and figure and slot it into sort of the organizational thing that's already in my head, but you're just looking for what are we going to do with this going forward?
Yeah.
Where are we headed with this?
Yeah, just big
It's a
picture.
nice contrast. Yeah.
And then you just let the tornado rip through the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's some
and then you
tornado.
clean up the pieces from time to time. But when I got into real estate, so those well, first of all, like, playing sports growing up was a huge part of who I am today.
Yeah.
And what I do now. Going to college and playing at the Division I level was hugely impactful for me. I mean, just being pushed at that level to be your best taught me so much about life in general. And those memories are fantastic, and the level of talent that I got to see and play with was like phenomenal. So I came into real estate and I just did the same thing that I did growing up. I just tracked and measured everything on whiteboards.
Yeah.
So the prospects, the statistics, the appointments set, the number of sales, the commissions earned, taxable dollars going out. Like, I used to have everything on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Until the day that I started to prioritize building the company over personal sales, right?
Yeah. So let's get that timeline. So you get your license in March of 2016. You're selling tons of homes. Not immediately, but 6 in your first 90 days, and then it just takes off from there, right? And then August, I joined, and then
I just saw August 1st,
yeah,
2016. It's on your Facebook bio.
oh, look at me go!
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So Liz comes in and we're like, "How the hell is a lawyer joining us? This doesn't make sense."
There were a lot of conversations of like, "Why are you doing this again? Like, are you sure that this?" Like, yes. I mean, I had worked as an attorney for 10 years. I had an awesome litigation practice and I loved it, but the kids were at a point that they needed one of us home more often. My husband's a high school band director, loved his job, was gone at night all the time. It just felt like we were working too hard to manage the schedule, and I didn't love my law career anymore. So bailed, and then was home for a bit, and then wanted to get back into something, but I knew it had to be convenient in working well with my kids' school schedule. So I just needed something that I could do after I dropped the kids off at school and then leave by the time I had to pick them up. And your Coldwell Banker office was one stoplight from my house, and Nicole Junker put us together, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's funny how life plays out, and how the right people come into it at the right point. Maybe now we're at middle life crisis, turning 40 years old perspective. But,
yeah, you are. I'm past that.
Yeah. But it's really funny how the right people come into your life at the right time, and those relationships strengthen or they dissipate as you go on, right? Based on your goals and your lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so at what point? So I get there in August of 16. By December of 18, we leave Coldwell Banker and go to EXP. Do you remember at what point in there you started adding agents to the team, or started really intentionally thinking about adding agents?
Yeah, it was 2018, late 2017, and it was born out of a need.
Okay.
And that's the thing that I tell team leaders nowadays is that you don't start a team. You don't even think about starting a team until you have so much business that you can't service it yourself.
Yeah.
This industry has this way of saying you need to, sell 20 homes and then start a team.
Right.
And when I mean you have so much business you can't handle it yourself, I mean you need to have a full-time admin, you need to have full-time marketing, you need to build out your staff side first.
Yeah.
And figure out how to lead those people first, because that then allows you to buy back your time and go sell more houses.
Right.
So I would say unless you have 50 sphere deals coming in a year consistently year over year and you've proven it, I don't think you should start a team. I think you should build a rock solid admin team before you even start to bring agents in.
Right. No, I completely agree with that. And that's sort of the order you did things in, right? I mean,
Yeah. And this was a lesson that I learned from lawn care. And I say that I failed, but really what we did was just failed forward, because my partner and I at the time, we were both on mowers.
Yeah.
So we were out cutting grass each day. Now we also had 4 to 6 other crews out at the same time, depending on the time of year. So we had employees out running and doing jobs, but we were also doing jobs ourselves.
Yeah.
And we would take the highest accounts or the biggest properties or just the highest priority clients, right?
Yeah.
And it never allowed me to actually get out there and truly build the organizational side of the business.
Right.
So you burn out, because now you're doing invoicing and sales at nighttime after you've just cut grass for 12 to 15 hours.
Yeah.
So I had that experience in my back pocket, and I knew that when I started to feel that internal conflict of I can't keep up with this anymore, that was a signal for us to grow.
Yeah.
And I just had this, I still have it today, which is interesting because it's been 10 years, but this desire to succeed and this urgency to succeed. And I think it's because how I grew up, but also my golf career didn't turn out the way that I thought. My dream was to play on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And that was devastating. And so I had to kind of retrain my mind that I'm not an athlete anymore.
Right.
And I'm not known as the athlete anymore. And then you go from being a Division I athlete and a professional golfer to a lawn care guy.
Yeah.
Cuts your ego down pretty quick.
Yes.
And so now I just was operating from this position of, okay, I'm 30 years old. I need to get on with my life. Like, I had this just urgency to say, like, I can't keep affording to fail.
Right.
I can't try something else and then not make it succeed. So I went into real estate and I said, I'm going to become the absolute best at this.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm going to give it everything that I have every day. And it's interesting because now we look back 10 years later and we still have that urgency.
Right. Well, I mean, it's wild. This is such a fun conversation because there's so many interesting parallels that I wouldn't have seen back then that I see now. Because in some ways, I had gone through a couple careers myself by the time I found you guys, right? Right out of college, I had started a PhD program in clinical psychology. I thought I was going to go that route for my life. And then that kind of fizzled out. And then I did this law career, which super excited about. And then that kind of fizzled out. So then by the time I started with you, I think I had a lot of guard up. Like I just wanted it to be the thing that I did during the day. And I remember pretty early on having a conversation of like, okay, I don't think it's going to work to just be half in. So this is going to be full time, but I still was reluctant to kind of turn it on all the way. Probably for fear of failing,
Mm-hmm.
Or for fear of not having it be as great as I wanted it to be. But I do remember then, I don't know at what point, maybe, I think we were in the Apple Valley office. I remember having a conversation with you and saying, okay, turns out I'm all in. And you have to know what that means. Cause like when I do all in, it's all in. And you were like, okay.
And that's the thing that I'll say is you are the only other person I've ever seen that has matched that all-in factor, that intensity, that I've ever seen, truly. And I think because now I know you so well, like you have this deep down need to always be challenged.
Yeah.
And it's a mental challenge of like you need to continue to solve problems and figure out complex issues. And that's probably why you read so much.
It probably is.
Probably,
yes.
you build puzzles, I build Legos.
I know. Yes.
that journey of this 10 years has included so many complicated puzzles
Right.
that we've solved together.
Right.
And at the same time, like, we've both gone through enough that I think we'll never feel like we have it figured out.
No. No.
And so I mean, I don't think Gary Keller has it all figured out right now, because you have to be able to adapt and change and grow, right?
Right. I mean, it's funny to look back on us 10 years ago and think, how would we have handled something like, the NAR lawsuits? I don't think we would have had any idea what to do. I am grateful that we didn't have anything quite that major back then. Because now stuff like that comes up and we're like, okay, well, digest the information, figure out a plan, move forward.
Well, it comes down to a couple things. Whenever something big happens in your life, you have to ask yourself, what can I personally control right now?
Yeah.
And then what is outside of my control? And this is, maybe it's coming on 40 years, right? This is a little knowledge right here, but what can I actually do? And then go take action on that thing.
Right.
If you can't control something, if it's outside your control, you have to release it and you have to let it go.
Yeah.
Because things are going to happen all the time that you can't control.
Yeah.
So like the NAR thing, we just looked at it like, all right, we know that we're going to give it our all. No matter what happens, the competition is leveled at this point. The biggest companies, the smallest companies, we all have to operate the same way. But if we outwork them and we figure out how to work the system better, we're going to have an opportunity.
Right.
But all the other shit, the news cycles and the social media stuff and the pressure and the posturing of brokerages trying to, all the things, you just got to release that and not focus on it.
Right. Yep, because it's outside your control. Okay, so go back to that very beginning of team building and putting systems in place. Do you remember back then having what we called team meetings?
Yep.
Where do you remember them happening?
In the conference room, in the office. We during COVID did them at the Apple Valley and Rosemount Library.
Yep. Do you remember having one or two team meetings in the Coldwell Banker conference room?
Yep.
I only remember maybe two, and there were probably only 5 of us in the room.
Yeah.
Right? But I remember having a little bullet pointed list that was going to be our agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you have to correct me because I don't remember, but I think that our source of business that we talked about at that point was Zillow. And when you talk about having more business than you could service personally, I think it was Zillow leads, right?
Yeah, until they started turning to referrals.
Right. But we were, back then when we had just a couple of agents, did we have Zillow leads going to all the agents? How did that work? Do you remember?
Yeah, I sure do. Because I grinded over this, because back in the day, they didn't have these rules. They didn't have real-time tours. They didn't have ISAs on Zillow side. They were just consumers getting connected to you in real time. So it was 24/7. So meaning like you could be asleep at 2:30 in the morning, and if someone's up on their computer, you paid for that lead.
Yeah.
Right? And so I always looked at it like, if I paid $100 for this person and it comes in at 2:30 in the morning, it's unacceptable for me to be asleep and not have a solution in place.
Right.
So I used to grind over creating autoresponders, and we did it through a program called Agent Legend, which is still around today. And I would build in voice, video, and text automatic campaigns, and this was before text laws, right? Spam and stuff. And so at 2:30 in the morning, they would get a video of me that would say, "Hey, thank you so much for reaching out. It's obviously 2:30 in the morning here Central Time, but I typically get up around 5:30. If there's anything that you want me to wake up to and take action on to help you in your home search, please let me know."
Oh, wow.
So they would get that and they'd be like, "Wow, this guy's on top of it," right?
That's
and it's
great.
me and my smiling face, and it's a video, and so they would say, "Hey, we're interested in homes in 196." At 6 a.m., I'd have them set up on a search.
Yeah.
I would send them another video that said, "Hey, I just set you guys up. There's 3 homes that I'd love to take you out to go see. It's, boom, boom, boom. What does your schedule look like? I'm free this afternoon." And I would just outwork people, right?
Yes.
Because the competition is sleeping.
Yes.
And the problem we even have today in real estate is that we have a 70% rate of failure when a client is sitting outside a house calling a listing sign.
Yeah.
Which means if they're sitting outside in their car and they call the number on the sign, 70% of the time it goes unanswered.
Right.
because agents don't answer their phone.
Yeah.
And human nature.
Yeah.
Right? Which encompasses laziness and forgetfulness and
Sure.
ego and
all the things.
so yeah, to me it was how do we take every person that inquires, every name that's on a list, and turn them into a client.
Yeah.
Because they either bought, they're going to buy, or they're buying with us.
Yeah.
And I just viewed it as like at some point in their life, even if they bought yesterday, they're going to buy or sell again. And I want to be that person that markets to them, that shows up in their inbox more consistently than anyone else. And sure enough, those people would come back in 3 years and say, hey, you're the guy we want to work with.
Yeah. I have this really early memory of trying to impart that system to agents. And our very earliest sort of accountability and Zillow metrics. I don't remember the details, but I remember somehow being in a position where I was sending emails to some of our agents saying, hey, you got this Zillow lead. What happened with it? But the specific agents that I remember sending those emails to were John Graham and Andy Morgan. And I believe that their responses were similar to the responses they'd give me now, which was basically, leave me the fuck alone. But not in a bad way, more just like I'm handling my business. But do you remember those kinds of, like, that really early version of teaching agents to have that same intensity?
Yeah, of course. And that was the moment when we didn't, when we started to make the priority about other people over like myself.
Yeah.
Then you have to start learning leadership skills, and you have to start learning human behavior.
Yeah.
Because there's so many nuances of real estate and human behavior that collide. And I'll tell you what, that is probably the last 7 years that I've learned the most about people.
Yeah.
About how to push people, how not to push people. And it's certainly a struggle.
Right.
Certainly. Because we've had so many agents that will not take those leads seriously or don't want to succeed.
Yeah.
And team leaders will hit their head against the wall, and they'll go to sleep at night saying, why can't I get this person to succeed?
Yeah.
And the reality is you can't force human behavior.
Right. Right.
So your only options are find more great people or hold them accountable properly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I think the early days, I try to reflect on it, but you know how I am. Like, I live in fast forward too.
Yeah. Yes.
I think, like, why did this why has all of this happened? Yesterday was a good day for perspective, seeing all the people and everyone that surprised me for my birthday.
Yeah.
Meant a lot, and I'm still kind of processing all that because I don't like surprises.
I know.
But you just think, like, I don't know, why me? Why us?
Right. It was very fun to have an opportunity for everybody to come together and wish you happy birthday. I know you hate it. We all knew you were going to hate it right from the beginning, but we also knew that ultimately you would end up loving it, which of course you did. And for those of you who weren't with us yesterday at our company meeting, we had a magician in the room. It was fantastic. And Parker, you kind of introduced it to the people who were in the room yesterday, but I think you sold it a little short because you said, oh yeah, when we talk about the company party, I say we should have a magician, and people say no. That's not where it ends. You say that for there's a period of 2 years where every single event, you'd be like, let's have a magician. We're like, no, we'll be at an apple orchard. We can't have a magician. And it was every single thing. And we kept saying no. So we were so excited to have a magician at our party. And he did a great job.
He did, yeah.
And he made you be the volunteer and stand up and do stuff.
Yeah. It was incredible. He did the Dr. O's trick, the mentalist trick, where he puts the watch on the other person and then reads the time off the wrist.
Yeah.
And then also guesses the location of somebody's dream destination.
Yeah.
And I've read the book, Dr. O's book. It's like How to Train Your Mind, something like that. I'm drawing a blank, but it's a really good book. And he talks about the trick in that book, so I kind of knew how the trick worked. It's reading Chris's body language and his eyes and sure enough, he picked the location.
You got to know Parker was staring that guy down, trying to identify the flaws in his system and trying to figure out how everything worked.
Yeah, that was a good surprise. I think we need him to come back.
I'm sure that doesn't surprise me at all.
David Wells, right?
Roger
Wells?
Roger Wells, yeah.
Sorry, Roger.
You were close. Oh, man. No, that was a nice reflection moment. And I think it led us to want to have this conversation today of like, wow, 10 years is a long time.
Yeah, and I think that urgency is it's still here every day. I was telling Blake this morning, um, this is a 90 kids joke, or not joke, but reference. I feel like, gosh, you're either going to think I'm a major nerd for this, or you're going to love me for this.
So excited.
But I grew up 4 boys in my family, so
Yeah.
we loved wrestling.
Yeah.
And we came up in the Stone Cold and the Undertaker era.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Undertaker, he sits up from the casket ringside, and when that happens and you hear the music drop, you're just like, oh shit. And every day I get out of bed, I spring up like that, and I'm like, let's go kill something today. Emily Korb was gonna love that one.
Oh my god.
But it's just a reference of let's go kick some ass. Let's take urgency.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. And I truly I think every day for the last 10 years, I think I've done that.
Sat up from the casket and went, oh shit.
No,
That's
look, like
I know.
every day in that time period, it's say hi to my family, like get the kids up, feed them. I get in my car, like Korn is playing.
Yes, Nick's first concert.
My first ever show. It was a good one.
Play Undone for me and tell me you don't get jacked up. Driving to the gym to meet somebody that's gonna work out with me. And current day it's Blake, and he and I have been working out together for a couple of years now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Before then, it was somebody else that would hold me accountable, or as a trainer. And I go all out, and then we come to the office and we're on level 10.
Yeah.
Right? I told you today, I'm like,
Yeah.
I might be 11 today.
And look, he's drinking a Diet Mountain Dew.
I think that the realtors, though, they need to wake up with a purpose.
Absolutely.
And you need to have that urgency in your life, because when you do, you're training your mind to wake up and go take action.
Right. It could not be easier to make yourself feel like you're going to work every day and you are doing work every day, but not actually having the mindset to do the things that will actually move your business forward. Like, we can all go to work and play realtor or play whatever and move paper around and type some stuff, like myself included. I mean, it would not be, it is so easy to do that, especially in a role that is there's so many different ways you can be a successful realtor, right? So you have to know, what am I going to do? What's going to push the ball forward for me? And then you got to do it. Okay, but I have to go back for just a second because I have to tell you this. When I was a kid, my dad delivered pizzas on the weekend for additional money. And so he was always gone on Friday nights. So my mom and my brother and I would watch wrestling on Friday nights, every Friday night. That was like a tradition. And we'd ironically order pizza while we were doing it. So I am a fan as well. Not anymore.
I mean, good for him, by the way.
Well, yes, thank you.
To do that is not easy.
Well, no, I mean, my growing up was very much like, hey, we're gonna do whatever we got to do to get to pay the bills and to take care of the family. I mean, that there were no contingencies, there were no safety nets. It was just do your shit and get it done. So
Yeah.
yes, we did that. But my brother and I benefited because we got to watch wrestling with my mother, who you would not think would be someone who would be interested, but she watched it with us. So that's my story.
Do I have permission
about
to
wrestling?
Go
Of
a
course.
Go a little deeper.
Yes.
So this is probably a different era. You're probably talking about late 90s, and I'm talking about.
You always got to get that little jab.
Well,
in.
the
Liz,
economy.
you're so old.
I'm just judging based on your dad having.
No,
to
you're right.
Deliver pizzas. I mean,
Yeah.
my God, like, you got to respect the heck out of somebody that does that for their family. But
100%. He was a courier during the day. So he delivered mostly in downtown Minneapolis, downtown St. Paul, but he did that job because he could be an independent contractor. He was from a very early age was someone who could not work well with others, couldn't have a boss, that would never have worked. He was a courier so that my mom didn't, well, no, maybe she did, but so that he could be available if the kids needed rides places. So he did that during the day, and then on the weekends he'd deliver pizzas.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But my relation to that, I guess, is in 04, actually like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Terrible real estate years, as we know.
Yes.
And I remember sitting at our dinner table, and growing up, my parents always provided for us. We never had to miss sports, or we always got new clothes. I would say we're middle upper class Apple Valley,
Yeah.
right? And they always had nice things. We had a nice house. We had nice cars. My dad always prioritized money because he came from nothing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of got this visual of like what a successful person does. And then when the market got hard, I remember the conversations around the dinner table started to change, and it started to become, well, guys, like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I don't know if we're going to take the trips. I don't know if, and then all of a sudden my mom started shopping at Cub Foods instead of Byerly's.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the receipts start to show up on the dinner table. And my dad had this way of making us almost feel guilty.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think is just driven into my brain and my brother's brains too. Because he would always threaten, if things don't improve or if we don't do this, I'm going to have to go deliver papers for the Pioneer Press.
Yeah.
And he must have said it 100 times.
Really?
And it was just over and over. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, you're a guy that is on billboards and movie theaters and you're on every magazine. Like, why would you have to do that?
Right.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we don't get into. But I remember those days and I think now, I never want to be in that position.
Right.
I never want to, number one, ever make your kids feel guilty for something like that. But the reason I show up and I have so much urgency every day and obligation to succeed for the people at this company and my family is because of that, I think.
Yeah.
And I still think it's possible today that this could all go away.
Right.
How crazy is that? A $1 billion sales company, 30 plus million in revenue.
Right.
And I still think that it can go away tomorrow.
Right. No, but I think anybody in an industry like ours, in a sales related industry, you have to start from that position that you wake up every day without any clients, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think it's important to say there is absolutely no shame in doing whatever you have to do to pay your bills and to take care of your family and to get through the day. Like, I get the point of what he, saying that as a parent to a kid. I understand, but I think maybe the right lesson is to say, like, we got to get through this together, right? Like, we got to figure this out together, and whatever people do to take care of their families and to make sure that ends meet. I mean, that's a noble thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we talk about that all the time with agents.
We surely do. Yes.
But the sales cycle and the way that realtors annual years kind of go, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And my whole thing, the way that I lead and the way that I want people to see how I live my life is that there is no inconsistency in your standard.
Right.
Every day you're going to show up and do your best, and you're going to do something that's going to push the ball forward.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if you take a week or 2 months off, you're going to see that dip.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those moments in your life where you might have to go deliver newspapers for the Pioneer Press.
Right.
And for some reason, I'm fearful of that.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, why we're here today in the position that we are today.
Yeah.
The other thing that I learned was my dad would always buy things.
Mm.
And it's again, probably because he came from nothing, right?
Yep.
He's a poor kid from Detroit, and he told us all the stories, and he came over here and he made a success of himself in real estate. And when I think about his lifestyle, it continued to elevate.
Yeah.
So you had more kids, you bought more cars, you bought more houses, you spent more money. Your standard of living was raising with your income.
Yeah.
And my advice to everybody now, because what I learned early on was that if you keep your income, or if you keep your expenses, your living standard at a certain level, anything you make in addition to that is pure profit and pure gravy.
Yeah.
And then for 10 years, I've taken everything above that line, for the most part.
Yeah.
And I've put it into investments for the future.
Yeah.
And that's what I want for agents here too, is that you don't go and buy the new car when you sell your 10th home.
Right.
You don't buy the new house when you hit 100,000 in income. Sit in the trenches for a while.
Yeah.
Sit where you're at, and as your income climbs, use that money to build for your future, because there will be times that it'll be dark in this industry.
Yeah.
We just went through 3 years of darkness.
Right. Right.
And as a realtor, you have no savings plan. There is no 401k.
Right.
There is no automatic retirement.
No.
So you have to start planning for that in real time. And if you can keep your expenses, Kathy and I still to this day, we live on our standard of living from 2018.
Yeah.
And it's created so much ability to go and do other things for good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as like holding yourself to a standard of your daily schedule. It's a standard of what is your diet?
Yeah.
How do you treat yourself? How do you treat other people? And if you can have a standard for all of those things, you're going to succeed in this business.
Well, and it's such a wild thing to think that somebody comes out of real estate school. It's not like they come out with an MBA and a network of other business owners that tell them how to run a successful business. I mean, it kills me that it's just like, okay, and now go. And you have to just learn all of those things on your own.
It's so challenging, truly, to become successful in this business.
Yeah.
But my advice to anybody is go find somebody that is doing what you want to do and figure out how to be around them all the time.
Right.
Just figure out how you can be in their life. How can you provide value to that person or that group? Because your environment is so important.
Yeah.
The environment that we were in, in the Tom Ferry network played a huge part.
It did.
Our environment at EXP played a huge part. Our environment that we've created here and the purpose behind what we do is hugely impactful.
Right. I mean, I think we could identify some key moments where we were connected with somebody who was a few years ahead of us, and we really figured out one element of our business from them, and then took it and put our own spin on it. I mean, I can think in my head of several different times that we did that, building our services departments, building our commission levels, and the specific mentors that helped talk us through those things. It's really cool.
Yeah. That is just being aware of somebody who's ahead of you and learning from them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to recreate the wheel. And by the way, nobody has any unique ideas anymore.
Right.
Everything's already been thought of or created.
Right.
So if you're an agent, go find somebody that you respect and relate to and can be around, and be around that person. Just find somebody that's done what you want to do and be a part of their life.
Right. And we see that every day at our company. We see agents connecting with somebody who is picking the lead pillars that they also gravitate towards and saying, okay, how did you get successful with those, with open houses or with your sphere, with their whatever it is? Like, I see that you have done it. Can you show me the path? And nice to be able to find people within your own organization, not having to go out and buy coaching or something. It's just, you just need to connect with someone.
Yeah. But I mean, I support coaching too, but
100%.
within the standard of your budget, right?
Yes.
I did something that was probably not recommended. In 2016, I hired Tom Ferry Coaching.
Yeah.
And I put it on a credit card. So I actually did not have the cash to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I just thought, like, if somebody can show me the way, I will get there.
Yeah.
And that goes back to golf, where if I was playing with players that were better than me, it was going to challenge me to be better.
Yeah.
If I was playing with players that were worse than me, you're probably going to fall to the level of that standard.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always just like, how do you get into that next foursome, or how do you get onto that higher level team in hockey, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit to the point where the team has grown enough, and it was still a team at that point, that you're starting to find it difficult to balance between selling homes and managing the team.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was in 2020.
Okay.
I acknowledged it because we had just had Harrison.
Okay.
Which was great. He was born in June of 2019. And so I was identifying, now I've got a real human being I need to take care of.
Yeah.
And Kathy has been so supportive as a spouse, even in our days without kids. Like, she would let me work whenever I wanted, would never make me feel bad about pursuing our dreams, right?
Yeah.
And I would just work like an animal and come home at 10 o'clock, and she'd have dinner ready for me. She might be asleep, but it's sitting on the counter.
Yeah.
And so that was really important to, and also just like lucky to be in that situation in life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get into real estate and they have kids already and they have obligations, and
Right.
it's hard. It's really, really tough.
Yeah.
So I always felt like, well, if I have this amount of like fortune, then if I don't work my absolute hardest, I'm throwing that away.
Yeah.
So when we got into the team, I felt like if other human beings are going to trust us and be a part of this company, and they're looking at me like, I need to show them how to be successful.
Yeah.
And if I don't help them become successful, I failed them.
Yeah.
And maybe we're we're like on this pattern of being afraid to fail.
Apparently, yeah.
I don't know. But if some other individual is going to say, hey, you're the guy I want to link up with, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they're successful.
Yeah.
So now we're out. I'm selling 70 some homes on the side, making a great income for my family. And the other side, we've got, I think it was around 6 to 8 agents. And I wasn't fulfilling my duties as a leader to them.
Yeah.
And I had a real obligation to do that. And so we were on a plane coming back from California, Kathy and I and Harrison. And I was like, when we land, I need to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I trust you. Whatever you think you need to do it. And you're going to succeed. And I said, all right, I'm going to go all in on building a real estate company, not a team.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I saw the vision for, if we're going to go all in on this thing, this is going to become a brokerage. It's going to become a huge thing. And I landed, I signed a napkin with her. And it's in some box, but
Really?
it was like my promise that I wasn't going to go back on what I said. It was my full commitment that we're going to leave this income over here, $700,000-$800,000 of income for your family.
Yeah.
And you say, poof, it's gone.
Yeah.
Your compensation now is solely based on the success of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've transferred that urgency from myself to other people.
Right.
Right. And that, to answer your question, I think is when we went all in on building the organization.
Well, I think so too, because that same sort of flipping of a switch on your personal side, on the personal side, we did on the business side too, because then we no longer had the revenue that you were bringing in from sales to service all the expenses of the company. So yeah, it was like, okay, all of a sudden we got to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really the day-to-day was the exact same.
It was.
You wake up, you get out of the casket like Undertaker, you turn on Corn Nick, you go prove to yourself first that you can do hard things. You beat yourself up in the gym and push yourself to the limits, and then you come into the office and you go attack.
Yeah.
And now I'm attacking for other people. And so it was, how do we create more efficiencies in realtors' lives? How do we create more systems so that they can leverage those and buy back time?
Yeah.
How can we create lead pillars that create more opportunity for them to sell more homes? Then how can we be present and relevant to lead them and train them?
Yeah.
And so kind of those areas were the focus. And I would come into the office and I'd be like, hey, Liz, I got this idea. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, holy shit, really? I'd be like, no, I see it. I can clearly see it. Like, I've already visualized this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this, this, and this. And so what we did was we got John successful. We got Chuck successful. Nicole was growing her career.
Yes.
Andy was having a bunch of success. Then Ryan Rodriguez came in, and he was a stud. And
Yeah.
and so on and so on. Billy Joe back in the day. Shout out Billy Joe.
You have good memory of who those first few agents were.
Oh, I could go 0 to 100 with you if
Really?
Yeah, if we had time, I'd in order.
That's amazing.
I know all of that. So and through the years, for whatever reason, things haven't worked out for some. Others are still here with us.
Yeah.
But it was, if you're going to join our company, we're going to make sure you're a success. And I think that that's where team leaders nowadays drop the ball, because they're still prioritizing their own sales, their own lives. Yeah. They might look at the team as income sources.
Yep.
I call that the minions model.
Yeah.
And they don't go all in on helping agents. And I'm really passionate about this topic, because if you were to look at all the teams in the marketplace, I think I can maybe name 5 where the team leader is all in on building the company.
Right.
Where they're out of production, or it's a husband-wife team where one of them takes the production side and the other one takes the leadership side.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's probably 5.
Yeah.
And like it just shows you how difficult it is to get to that point.
Right.
And then how few people want to actually cut that safety net away.
Well, and that's what it is, right? It's the safety net. It's the contingency plan. It's saying, okay, I'm going to give this a go, and it might not work, and then I might have to do something else, and I might in that time lose contact with some of my sphere and have to rebuild if it doesn't work. But without taking that leap, I mean, you and I have seen P&Ls from how many different teams or small brokerages where you can just see it, that the money is not coming in the way it should be. So you kind of have to pick a lane, even though it's scary as hell.
Those are the ones I want to help the most, because
Absolutely.
they're selling homes to support the expenses of the company.
Yeah.
And it's a really, God, it's just a tough situation.
Yeah.
Because I was in it.
Yeah.
I was literally in that position from 2020 through, I would say, like mid 2021.
Yeah.
And another really fortunate thing I would say is that time was extremely fortunate for real estate agents.
Sure.
We had no clue getting off that plane that COVID was about to hit.
Right.
So by the way, January, we're getting off the plane. I signed the napkin. I'm out of
Then COVID.
I'm out of
Production.
day-to-day sales, at least mentally focused on growing the team.
Yeah.
March, right around this time, maybe to the day.
Yeah, I think it was a few
that.
days ago. Yeah. Because I saw it on people on
COVID
on
hits.
social. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these laws go into effect that we can't go show houses and we can't operate our business. And then real estate was deemed essential at one point.
Yeah.
But we were still out there doing virtual open houses on Facebook Live.
Sure.
And consumer confidence was at an all-time low. The market stopped for 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where the fortune came back is that the government manipulated the markets to help the citizens, dropped interest rates to the floor.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now sellers are in incredible positions in multiple offers and buyers are locking in at 3% or they're refinancing their homes into 3% loans.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, stimulus checks are coming out and so on and so forth. But at a point there, I'm like, we might be cooked.
Yeah. We definitely had that conversation. But even had economic circumstances not been what they are, I think at this point, looking backwards, we could figure out a path to making a team or real estate company model work. You just have to be really deliberate about it. You can't sort of assume that by adding people and growing the team that eventually it's going to come to a point where everybody else's production can sustain it and you can just run the company. You have to do that really intentionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the only other situations that I've seen is AJ's team,
Yeah.
where he was successful in sales, but he also made about the equivalent on the team side too. And it's because AJ's a super efficient human being.
Yeah.
And he's surrounded by really great people.
Yeah. Nope. That'll do it.
And those that know AJ know that he's extremely smart and analytical.
Yeah.
And I've looked at so many different real estate P&Ls, and his is the best that I had seen for somebody who was not fully out of sales,
Right.
running at this speed.
Yeah.
So back to the fortune though, because 2020, 2021, and half of 2022 was really great market.
Yeah.
So I have to like give it up to God for that one because, or whoever's helping us.
Yeah.
But that was so fortunate. You get out of sales and you have 2 years where the market's just ripping.
Yeah.
So our agents are having great success. Now other agents see that. We're starting to pick up on recruiting systems.
Yeah.
Now our team's growing. We go from 10 to 30 to 50 people.
Yeah.
We go from 220 sales in 2018 to in 2020 we did 650.
There's that photographic memory again.
And then we went 650 to 720, and we went 720 to 1250.
Yeah.
And then last year we ended up closing 2,400 transactions, and this year I think legitimately we're going to close 4,000 transactions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're closing 10 homes a day right now.
Yes, we are. Shout out to our amazing staff.
Oh my God, yeah. So that's where it starts. It starts with how do you make these team members who trust you successful?
Yeah.
And then how do you replicate that? Because it's just like selling homes. You do a great job on one of your clients' listings, they're going to refer you to somebody.
Yeah.
You knock it out of the park for a buyer, they're going to tell somebody at the next party that they worked with you.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with realtors. So then it becomes a matter of how do you best manage people?
Yeah.
And how do you lead people so that there's accountability in place, there's standards in place, and that everybody is believing in the same mission? And I would say on the staff side and the realtor side, but
Yes.
you've taken the ball with the staff side 100%.
Yeah.
And you lead them with, I mean, so much confidence and heart. And I say it all the time, we have the all-star team.
Do have the all-star team. Absolutely.
And we have a huge army
Yeah.
of people helping, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so you run the staff, and current day, like when we hire someone, I'm not involved in that process.
Yeah. Yep.
You handle that.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, watching you turn into a leader and grow as a leader to be able to do that, and then have all of these people that you've helped, is really fulfilling for me to see too.
That's very sweet. Nick and Aurora are making the heart sign. That is so sweet of you, Parker.
It's so meaningful though, and
Yeah.
now we're doing it with our office leaders.
Yeah.
We're doing it with our mortgage company, our title company, and it really comes down to one thing: the more leaders that you can help build, the more successful your company will be.
Yeah. Well, because here's the amazing thing. I don't even do most of the hiring anymore, right? Like now I can say Holly and Caitlin and Emily, they're doing that. I get to watch them become amazing leaders and pour into their people with the same kind of values that we pour into people with. That, that same trusting in people and giving them discretion and showing them how much you care about them as a person and challenging them to just do things on their own and not wait for minute to minute direction from you. All those things that we do trickle down, and what a wonderful thing that is.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if you feel this way or not, but that is my accountability system.
Yeah.
Every day when I'm driving in here fired up, I'm thinking to myself, if I don't perform on what I preach,
Yeah.
if I don't perform on the standard that I teach everybody, then I'm a fraud.
Right.
And I have 300 people to call me out on that.
Right.
And if I'm not pushing it as hard as I can, then I'm showing everybody else that it's okay to do the same thing.
Yeah. I always say this in our like annual awards things or in posts on your birthday. I always say Parker wears his heart on his sleeve so much and cares so much about the people at the company. And I think sometimes people think I say that to like soften your image a little bit because you are a strong, confident personality in our industry and in our company. But that's not the case at all. It's you truly, the amount that you care personally about all of the people who are part of this company and feel responsible towards them. I don't think anybody fully grasps that, but as the person who probably talks to Parker the most at this company, let me tell you, it is so true. The responsibility and care that he feels towards all of those people is just unbelievable, and it's so fun to watch. And I think it's what propels both of us every day.
Yeah, well said, and thank you. But I look at it in a unique way. I think it's not about the money anymore.
Yeah,
like I've done very well, and I've bought a lot of real estate, and my family's going to be great, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
I don't say that lightly because that took a lot of years to get to, but this to me is like a game.
Yeah,
we're playing the game of business. And I feel like my obligation is to make sure that everybody inside these walls wins first.
Yeah.
If you trust me and you're on our team, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that you win too.
Yeah.
And it's just like walking out of Hayes Arena or high school arena, high school hockey after you just beat Eastview. Like there's nothing better. There's nothing better than accomplishing something as a group and knowing that your team won and that everybody inside of that can celebrate that. And so for me now, it's how do we become number one?
Yeah.
And how do we make sure that everybody wins along the way? Except there is a small piece to this. There is accountability built in too.
Yeah.
Everybody is required to do the work.
Yeah.
Nobody is given the opportunity to slack off. Nobody will earn anything that they didn't work for.
Right.
And everybody plays a part in everything. And I said it in our last staff meeting that if our TC team didn't exist, we'd have a functional breakdown in our organizational system.
Yeah.
If Lewis and Jordan weren't here in field services, our offices would suffer.
Yeah.
Lots of things would suffer. If I said, hey, you know what? I'm in this position in my life where I'm just going to move to Florida. Leadership at the people that look to me as a leader, they'd say, well, my leader is now absent.
Right.
Well, he doesn't care as much anymore. He's slacking off.
Yeah.
So that means I can.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 100% full out intensity until the day that I'm done.
Yeah.
And that day, I don't know when it'll come. It could be never, but
right.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I love that. We are way over time. Any closing thoughts beyond that? Because I think that was pretty good. I wanted to close with Parkerisms that I enjoy a lot. I think what's your favorite phrase that you say to us and we make fun of you for?
I have so many of them.
I know.
It's probably that dead horse that's laying in the meeting room.
The dead horse is good, especially because it always comes with a visual demonstration. Mine is the sometimes you have to kill a hostage.
Yeah, you do.
I do really love.
What does that
one.
mean?
I've got one.
Nick's got one. What is it?
What does that mean, though? You have to explain it.
Well, I mean, when you say it, what you mean is sometimes you have to make an example and just make a difficult decision and rip off a Band-Aid. It's a bastardization of the quote from Speed, but whatever. We're okay with that. Nick has one he wants to share. What is it, Nick? And I'll tell Parker.
It's the done is better than perfect.
Oh, done is better than perfect, he says. Yeah, that's a good Parkerism. And that's been one of yours since the early days.
Yeah. There's a story there. But ultimately it's so true.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I think I catch you doing this too.
Oh God, I know.
Where you're like, no, we can't do this yet because we need this and this and this and this to happen. And I'm like, Liz, let's just fucking do it. Like we're gonna figure it out. And I'm nowhere near the level of leader or businessman that the person I'm gonna name is, but I've learned from Bezos and Elon, and they've both said that they need to receive 70% of the information to be able to make a qualified decision.
Yeah.
So once they feel like they're at 70% of the way, they can move forward with a task or a project or an initiative.
Right.
And I always think like, if you get me halfway there,
yeah,
we'll clean up the pieces.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna work.
Yep. That has definitely been part of our mantra since the beginning.
There's a lot of them, and now I'm teaching those to my kids, and it's funny to hear them.
Which ones did you teach your kids? Did you teach them done is better than perfect?
No. I did teach them about the hostages.
That is phenomenal. All right, we're closing on that. That is it for today's episode of No Contingencies. If you got value from this conversation, and I hope you did, given that it was just the two of us the whole time, take a second to share it with another agent who's serious about growing in this market. If you're looking for a brokerage that's forward-thinking, accountability-driven, and built for the next chapter of real estate, we should talk. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks,
Nick.
Thanks, Nick.